I'm 𝐔𝐬𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐭. Welcome to 𝐔𝐬𝐬 Inspires. It's time to give your children a childhood they won't have to heal from. Good morning and welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. I'm 𝐔𝐬𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐭. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about what it's like for parents to understand when their children want to transition their gender. It was a very eye-opening discussion I had with Dr. 𝐔𝐧𝐝𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐭 yesterday on my TV show when we talked about what she is doing in Pakistan. She wants to be the first trans awareness doctor in Pakistan to really help parents understand what it's like for their children to go through this transition. And recently, I was watching a program on Netflix about Caitlyn Jenner, and she was going into camps and organizations where she was talking not only to these kids that are transitioning, but also talking to their parents. And what was heartbreaking was these kids that she didn't get to talk to because they had committed suicide. And she also talked about that too. And that is one of her missions right now, is to help the world, the community, understand what it's like to know at a young age that this is not the body I'm born in is not what I feel. And as Dr. 𝐔𝐧𝐝𝐴 had said, is that the sex we're born with is between our legs and the gender is up here. And it was even more fascinating to understand the scientific reasoning for it, that a child can be born with XXY chromosome. And so although they'll have, a male genital, they will feel feminine and they'll want to change that maybe. She also talked about a study that was done way, way long ago by this guy named Mr. Money. And he had some twins, I believe, that they did the study on, and the child was being circumcised. And at the time, they ended up cutting off the genital. So they decided to do some therapy and create this boy into a girl at birth, pretty much. And it did not have a great ending for this child. As much as they thought that all the therapy was working, it didn't. And the child definitely was not understanding why she, as she was raised, felt like a boy. And, it was a sad, sad situation. And so when we sum it all up, and if you want more information, I would invite you to watch the show that I had yesterday on my YouTube channel. But what it comes down to is, how do we support our children where they're at? We're at a different time and age. We're not living back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. We're, in 2023 now. And we're hearing more and more about these kids that want to change their gender. And all I'm saying is support your child. I'm not saying go and let them get surgeries. Don't do medication, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to tell you how to raise your children. But even my kids who have a need to play soccer or a need to do or want to do dance, I support them. I support them where they're at. I support them in what they're doing, and if they want to change the way they dress, my daughter doesn't want to wear, tights anymore, and it's cold outside. We find different ways that we can, make her feel comfortable in what she wears. It's supporting our kids at a way that they feel supported. And it's asking them, what do you need for me to support you? How can I support you? And I'm going to be honest, I've not dealt with this. I have not had a child out of all 6 of my kids that feel they're not the same gender that they were born in. But I can tell you that if any of them came to me and we had an open talk about it, even my younger ones, I would support them in it. I personally would not do anything drastic that would change their biochemical making until they were, 18 to make their own decision. But if they wanted a different name, if they wanted to dress differently, like, I would support them in that. If they wanted me to call them a different name, I would support that in them. There's this idea that kids will change when they get older, maybe. But from what I've been watching and reading, a lot of these kids that know at a very, very young age inside of them that something's just different, they don't change. They want to be this the rest of their lives. And when they're adults, it's going to be their decision. And also what I've seen and read is that the kids that have full freedom in being who they are the ones that were supported by their parents, the ones that didn't get shunned away, that didn't feel they didn't have their parents' love anymore. It were the kids that felt fully loved, seen, and heard by their parents, that have great lives. They live a fulfilled life. They have families, they have kids, and they're happy. And, as a parent coach, what I've noticed from talking to my parents, that's the number one thing. They want their kids to be happy. And happy is defined by their children. What does happy look like for you? And what has to happen for yours to feel supported, to be happy? So again, I'm not here to tell you what choices to make for your kid. I am here to say, support them in hearing them, support them by listening to them, support them by having open conversations where they feel safe and trusted without judgment. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.